I don't like Scots. I like Irish guys.
It's the same island. Side of the street.
I think the redhead man.
I've got some thoughts on that McIntyre guy.
He's much Scottish.
All right, boys, we are live. Yeah, whoever's listening in or catching the recording of this, thanks for joining us here at the Gary Williams Store Your Lawn Furniture podcast again this week. This week we are actually sponsored for the first time. How cool is that to say out loud? By the Chasseur on Foster Avenue in Canton and the Pig and Rooster on Foster Avenue in Canton as well, about a block over. Probably going to do some kind of giveaway here on social media once this is over. So go check that out. Probably giving away, what do we say, guys? Like what, a $50 gift card or something like that?
Yeah, something. 2 $25 gift cards. One to the Chasseur, one to Pig and Rooster. Yeah.
Perfect. So yeah, go check that out. We'll either send it to you, or better yet, why don't you just go pick it up at the restaurant and use it while you're there. Also, just want to go over some of the rundown. We're going to go over some baseball today, like we always do. The Orioles continue on their hot streak. Got some stuff about Jackson Holiday. Hayes is starting to come around finally. We'll head into some football, go over some recent signings, people holding out from OTAs, some women's hoops, some golf, and the upcoming NBA championship as well. I know Dustin always does his little golf segment at the end, so we'll go over that as well at the end. But more importantly, today we got Delaware Dave in the house. If you're ever in Canton, go check out Pig and Rooster because you'll probably see Delaware Dave in there. Probably one of the more knowledgeable Baltimore sports fans we've ever been around. So he tries to keep us whenever we bring up anything. He tries to check us and keep us in line when we're going off the rails a little bit. So
man, way to suck up, start the shit out of this thing. Come on, man.
Yeah, man. Hey, he's always the one that's gonna wind us back in when we're flying off the rail. So. Dad over there's got to keep us in line.
I don't even have any videos, Brooks.
Yeah, no incriminating videos.
Not yet.
Not yet, at least. Yeah. So, yeah, let's start off with some Orioles stuff. I mean, I think that's probably going to take up majority of the time. Orioles 38-20, second in the AL East, guys. How we feeling? What are you seeing? I'll let you guys kind of take it over from here. Go wherever you want to go with this. We can kind of discuss as we go.
Let's still rock and fire.
So Hayes 2 homers. Hayes are 2 homers yesterday.
Yeah. What have you guys seen? Let's throw it over to Delaware. Yeah. What have you seen Delaware just in the last week, last night specifically? You want to talk about anything in particular?
Throwing the bat hard, looking for good pitches. I mean, he lost so much weight when he got sick. I mean, you know, I could lose 10 pounds, but for that guy to lose 10 pounds, you know, that's a you know, got to come back. It took him a while to come back from that. And with you know, Mullins being a little dinged up, you know, and you need 2 center fielders to play in Camden Yards, and we have 1 day off this month, so yeah. It's going to be, you know, it's a good time for him to be coming back and contributing.
Yeah.
What are we?
2 home runs last night, 317 in his last 15 games. So since came back, he's been very good. And it's good. Santander actually, the older guys on the team, the veterans are coming back. It looked like Santander has had a great last couple games. Last week, he had a home run, had another hit last night. Scored from first on a double, which you don't see much from Santander. He's not the most fleet of foot guy on the team. But yeah, it's looking like the older guys on the team heard our cries and are listening and starting to. It looked like we kind of tagged Gossman a lot last night. A lot of the like long fly balls. I feel like I saw their center fielder and right fielder catching balls on the warning track all game. It felt like we were just missing him. And we've kind of had a history of kind of kicking Kevin Gossman's ass in his 6 career starts against the Orioles. He's a 1-4 with a 5.3 ERA. So looking like a below average pitcher when in the last 5 years, realistically, Kevin Gossman's been one of the best pitchers in the league.
This kind of goes back to what we were saying.
Yeah, go ahead.
Kind of what we were saying last week is, we've been week to week with this team, and we're past the quarter pole at this point. But now the older guys, what we were talking about last week, older guys aren't stepping up. It's the younger guys. Now it's the older guys stepping up. And so it's really good to see, and that's why I think we can't go week to week with this team. I don't want to go Ravens, NFL, Monday morning quarterback BS. This is a good squad for 18 games above 500. We have an embarrassment of riches. Let's keep it rolling.
Yeah.
It's a 1-9 lineup too. You look at some good American League East teams. There's 5 good hitters on it. I mean, there's no real holes. There's no spot in our lineup we can get out of the inning. We can get out of this inning here. I think Norby looked good in his first couple at bats last night.
I'll go against you on the Norby stuff. I mean, he did have a couple swing and misses, but he did have good plate presence, but he wasn't making a lot of contacts, a lot of swing and miss stuff. But that's going to happen. I mean, it's his first game. He's got to be nervous as hell. He said his girlfriend's father was in town. He
just got off a plane from Canada. I mean,
his parents are going to leave him in Tampa in a couple days. It's going to come. But I mean, I'm not going to judge a man on his first 2 or 3 at bats.
Yeah. And he's been great in AAA too. This season he's hitting 286, 17 doubles. And over the past 3 years, 293 clip, 59 doubles, 34 homers, in 198 games. So a little bit more than a full season of baseball. He's hitting 60 doubles and 35 homers, 135 RBIs. I mean, I'm good with that out of a second baseman who's probably going to be hitting it towards the bottom of the lineup. Obviously, we got to see how he adjusts to major league pitching. 0 for 3 last night. I'm interested in Connor Norby, but more interested in what this means for Jackson Holliday. What do you guys think this means for Jackson Holliday with Norby coming up instead?
I'm sorry, gentlemen.
You got to come back here in that shirt.
I'm sorry. The owner of Charleston just walked in, and he did not know we were doing this here today. But you got to see what this man is wearing. You got to know. You got to come over here on camera. You got to come over here on camera.
Right in between.
Get it right in between.
Man.
That's a handsome jersey.
I mean, I respect the jersey though. I respect the jersey.
This is out of left field. This is a right turn from the left lane. I had no idea this was happening.
That's awesome.
Anyway, back on track.
What do you guys think? What do you guys think this means for Holliday? Why do you think we chose for Norby to come up as opposed to Holliday? Do you think it's just giving Holliday more time, or just the circumstances of the injury around Mateo being awkward?
I think it's the circumstances, to be honest with you. I think Holliday is going to be back up here in the next month or so. He's starting to come back around in the minors finally. Looks like he's starting to get his confidence back a little bit. And I mean, Norby, this is good to start just seeing what we got. I know we're calling Vespi up again. I'd really like to see one of the young pitchers get a start eventually, just to kind of see. But again, I think this was just the circumstances of the injury, and just gives us a good chance to get him out there.
Norby was down in AAA doing the same thing. Holliday comes up here, has some not failure, but some struggles, and he goes back and he's working on things. He's trying new approaches. So, it's not like he just went back and did the same thing he was doing. So the thought process in his mind is totally different than where Norby was that month, where he's trying to figure out why he struggled for the first time in his professional career. So, I think him starting to turn around is totally different.
I have a thought and a question for the group. The thought is, I think the Norby pull-up is to maybe showcase him, see if we can, make him look a little good, look semi-decent, to maybe make him trade bait. That's a personal thought. The question for the group is, do we think, or the question is, with the new CBA that happened, 2 years ago, I think, or 3 years ago, whatever it was, does Holliday have to get a number of at-bats, or is it when he came up that his service time starts? Do we know?
It's game days. So he can't, even if he had stayed up when he came up, if he had stayed up every day, he would have qualified for that to be his rookie year. He had to go down for another 6 or 8 days for that to not be his rookie year. So there's zero chance that he can that this will be his rookie season.
Okay.
He will be a rookie next year.
Yeah. So that extra
That
year of
was-
eligibility, that's so important
Yeah.
among GMs and baseball aficionados. We will not have to worry about that. Jackson Holiday will not be counted. This will not be counted as his rookie year. As
I thought your question was going to be, was it conspiracy theory that Mateo got hit in the head or stepped in pothole and had to go into DL? That this was some kind of mysterious falling off, because Rogers has hit me in the head harder than that.
Dude, and it was the back of the head. I feel like that's always the one that like fucks people up a little bit when they get.
I guess. I mean,
it must have been just like the right spot. I don't know what, because he was in the dugout, looked like he was about to throw up.
That's what they said.
Did you see it, Dell? Did you see how he actually got hit?
Yeah, he was, so Mullins was just warming up, and it was in his backswing after the swing. Mateo reaches down to grab a rosin bag or a weight or something, and the back of the end of the swing comes over the top, and he's bent over and hits him on. It looked like it hit the back of the. He had a helmet on. He had a batting helmet on, and it hit the back of the helmet. But it wasn't like, catchers get hit way harder by backswings than that, and just keep on rolling. So I discount his injury. I'm also, maybe my conspiracy theory is running higher. I don't know.
And it wasn't like Dell said it was like a swing. It's like it wasn't even really like a swing. It was like flicking the bat up, and then it was like on its way down. It was very odd, and he was obviously like it was weird. And even Brian Roberts on there, who we all know had like a year-long injury in battle with like vertigo and that concussion after he got hit in the head with a whatever. However that happened, I can't remember. But even he said, he goes, "That's scary because I know how he feels right now." And you kind of don't know the timeline because it's just whenever he starts feeling better.
Yeah.
Another question I had was like, do we think Connor Norby gets called up if Mayo is healthy?
Probably not.
Probably not, just because you still have Urias for like the utility infield. Westbrook can play second, short, third. So I would imagine probably Mayo would come up just because he seems like he's more of a major league ready hitter. Although Norby has great numbers, it just kind of seems like Norby is one of those Joey Ortiz odd man out kind of guys. We will talk about Joey Ortiz a little bit later. But yeah, I mean, Mayo, the power numbers he's been putting up are pretty staggering. He obviously took a dive into the dugout going for a foul ball a couple weeks ago and has been out, but he's supposed to be coming back. They don't think it's going to be a long way back for him.
Yeah, I don't think it was 9 homers, and Mayo has like 11 or 12 or something like that. But
I really think that's a showcase. This is a showcase. This is the 2024 version of Joey Ortiz.
Could be.
Well, we'll see. Obviously, hopefully, maybe Connor Norby will turn into Jordan Westberg and become everyone's favorite Oriole over the course of the first month of the season.
Yeah.
I don't know about you, but he's definitely my favorite Oriole right now.
I'm not rooting for anyone to get dumped. I really feel like they know they need pitching at some point or another, either a starter or a reliever. And you go ahead and showcase this guy. We have an embarrassment of riches. We say the same term every damn week. This seems like what it is.
Well, we're handing out Tommy Johns like Tic Tacs, so
I love what Dell said about Holiday going back down with a different approach, because I think everybody was kind of a little up in arms about him hitting 250 or whatever it was for the first couple of weeks down there. And now it's like the last 2 weeks or something, he's hitting like 320 something. I forget what it is.
Yeah, he's got a 7 or 8 game hit streak right now too.
Yeah, he's been scorching hot the last week or two. So hopefully whatever his new approach is, he's starting to figure it out a little bit, which is good to see. So
obviously tough road ahead for the Orioles. We have 2 4-game sets against divisional opponents. I heard this yesterday on Talking Baseball podcast. The Orioles haven't lost a series against an AL East opponent since April of last year. They've either split or won every in-division series. So just one of those things that just shows you the resilience of this team. I mean, we had the streak of not getting swept too. I just think that kind of thing that really builds character in an organization and a team, especially as young as we are. And June, we talked about it last week. Dale said already, we have one day off in June, and we're playing a bunch of games against the division. We're playing Atlanta, we're playing Philly, we're playing Cleveland, we're playing Texas. These are some of the best teams in the league. So we're really going to find out a lot about the ball club in June. And I think if we have a rough June, that might be a good thing for the team come October.
Before we bump off the Orioles, do we think Povich comes up anytime soon?
Well, that's what I was saying. I hope he gets a spot start here somewhere just to see. But I don't know, because I was hoping he'd get a spot start against the White Sox. Just like I said, no MLB team's a layup, but that would have been a good one for him to throw out there, since they're a struggling ball club, to be like, hey, let's see what you got. Go out there, throw strikes, but I think he has to, right? So he has to this month at some point with no one day off. Yeah.
Hypothetical, if one of our starter gets hurt, who's the AAA call up or is it a spot start? I mean,
it's got to be Povich, or we just signed Tehran, who we signed in the offseason. We just signed Tehran maybe like 10 minutes before we started recording this podcast back to a minor league deal. We DFA'd him earlier in the year. He was in spring training with us. So maybe he could get a spot start. Bruce Zimmerman's still down there. Pride of Loyola Blakefield, so maybe he could get a spot start.
I'm with Dell. I want to see what we got. I like throw somebody up there for one. And I think they said Kramer yesterday starting to throw flat grounds, which is good to hear. So
this is the time of year where you want to see guys that see what they got. I mean, you don't want to start doing it in August. You're in a stretch run.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm a little worried. And starters are going to have to go deep here this month too, or else our bullpen is going to be roasted.
I was a little upset Grayson couldn't get out of the seventh last night. I thought he got. I know we had more of a cushion. I thought he got pulled a little early. He was at under 90 pitches, had one out.
He was pissed.
With a was it 4 or 5 run cushion? I don't understand why you don't let him. Try to get to the end of the seventh. I mean, it's.
Yeah.
If 100 pitches is the magic number, he still had 11 to go. So I thought that was, a quick pull.
He was visibly upset. You could see when he looked out of the corner of his eye and saw Hyde coming out, he was kind of pissed off that he wasn't going to get through the seventh. But if you're a pitcher, you know that feeling. You obviously want to try to get as many outs.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. We were talking that maybe he gets to go out, come out for the eighth, and throw him for one batter in the eighth inning. I mean, so
yeah. I mean, what do you have? Man on first and third, or man on first? Like one pitch gets him out of that.
And if he makes the wrong pitch and gave up a homer, it was a 3-run cushion. So
yeah.
Well, what's the difference between 97 pitches and 108 pitches? Obviously, it's 11 pitches. I get that. But is it really going to make the arm fall off his body? No.
It's possible Elias or Hyde had a conversation about his just basically because he's still coming off that injury from earlier in the season. Maybe they want to limit his pitch count just for the next couple weeks or whatever. But I agree with you. If you get into a situation in playoff baseball where you need your starter to get an out and you want him to get out of that inning, and he doesn't have any experience in those situations, then it's going to be a lot more difficult for him come October. Yeah. So
are we going to coddle this kid? Is this the new Jabba Chamberlain rule? Like, let him play.
Yeah. Jabba Chamberlain. That's a guy I haven't thought of in a long time. Remember when all the insects swarmed him? I can't remember if it was flies or gnats.
Yeah.
He was in
Cleveland.
He was in Cleveland. All the gnats.
Yeah. God, man, I think we were sitting at like LA or Lighthouse Tavern for that or something. I forget where we were at.
Jabba Chamberlain is also the guy who set up the Delman Young double. He didn't give it up, but he was the guy who was on the hook for it because every time I watch the clip of it, he's in the dugout like throwing shit and all pissed off. Yeah.
All right, you want to move on to other baseball news?
Yeah, other baseball news. I hate talking about the Yankees every week, but we have to because it's the team that we're in direct competition with, and they just so happen to have 2 of the best baseball players on the planet at the top of their lineup. Juan Soto and Aaron Judge continue to just destroy baseballs. They're in the top 5 in the league in home runs, RBIs, OPS, walks, total bases, and WAR. Both of them. Soto leads the league in hits. I think he leads the American League in batting average. Judge has, I think, 15. It seems like he has 15 home runs in the last 10 days. I don't think he does actually, but it just feels like every time I look at a Yankees highlight, it's just them just going crazy. And also they're going to get Garrett Cole back soon, which is not good news for the Orioles. Garrett Cole's reigning Cy Young winner, one of the best pitchers in the league, probably a future Hall of Famer. He's getting his first rehab start in AA on Tuesday. He's going to have a 50-pitch max. They said they want a minimum of 2 outings before they consider bringing him up to the big league roster, but I would imagine that's probably going to be stretched out over the course of more like 2 or 3 weeks. I would imagine it's probably going to be more like 4 outings before he sees any live action, just because they've been playing so well. They don't need to rush him back. Have you guys watched any Yankees? Del, have you seen anything in particular? We haven't gotten your opinion on them.
I mean, Judge has been super hot.
Yeah.
But I fear Soto more than Judge, because Judge he's gonna miss weeks at a time. He's never gonna play 150 games in a season, where Soto does everything.
Yeah.
I still think the Yankees are flawed in that home run heavy lineup.
Yeah.
But this week, the last 2 weeks, they've definitely been smashing some pitching.
You don't want my opinion. You know it.
Aaron effing Boone.
Aaron Boone. We will be fine with Aaron Boone is their manager. He's the Cleveland Browns from MLB managers. We'll find a way to screw it up. It's fine.
Just a little tease for later in the show. We're gonna
do out for not saying anything.
little tease for later in the show. We're gonna do a little rundown of our least favorite athletes and sports personalities. And I don't know if Aaron Boone's gonna make the cut for Rodgers, but it seems like he might be in the running.
This is how bad Aaron Boone is.
He's definitely on his draft board.
He can't argue without getting thrown out of the game. He just gets thrown out.
He got thrown out when he wasn't arguing. I don't know if you saw that.
Yeah, we talked about that a little bit when the guy was behind the dugout and they thought it was him. Yeah.
That guy should have season tickets. The rest of his life. Season tickets.
Yeah, I said we were going to mention Joey Ortiz too. Joey Ortiz is the NL Rookie of the Month in May for the Brewers, and nothing but good vibes for Joey Ortiz. Hands round of applause for him, because he was a guy I think a lot of Orioles fans liked. Sort of the odd man out, as we kind of hinted that it could be the same way with Norby. It could not be. We'll see. But look, in like 50, 60 games this year, he's got a 293 average. He's got almost a 400 on base. He's got a 900 OPS. League average is around 700, so he's well above average at the plate. And the Brewers are good. They hold a 7-game lead in the NL Central already, and we're like, a third of the way through the season. We thought the Brewers were kind of selling when they traded Dust Corbin Burns. Turns out they are just the best team at getting rid of their superstars and retooling with younger guys who can play.
Without Craig Counsell.
Joey Ortiz? Yeah, and without Craig Counsell.
The Craig Counsell booing the other day when they did a video montage was incredible. And Craig Counsell handled it so well. Just giggling in the Cubs dugout.
I get it. You got to boo. I mean, the guy, it's like Mike Mussina leaving for the Yankees, right? I mean,
the first camera pan to the stands is some heavy set guy who's probably had 16 hot dogs already, and he just goes, "That's fucking bullshit."
Good for Joey Ortiz. Obviously, DL Hall got hurt early in the season, only had 4 appearances. He had a 7 or 8 ERA in his first couple appearances. He got hurt. He hasn't been able to throw since then, so we'll see. Hopefully he gets back into form and starts playing well for them too, because we're always rooting for our ex-Orioles.
I think Joey Ortiz actually is leading rookies in WAR right now as well, even above Chasseur and stuff now.
Good for him.
Did you guys see last night in the Orioles game? Not to go back to the Orioles, but it's Yankee and Toronto related. Don Mattingly's on that Toronto bench, and he got thrown out last night for arguing balls and strikes from the dugout.
That was a pitch coach. Pitch coach got thrown out. Don Mattingly's a bench coach.
I thought it was Mattingly that got thrown out.
They did say that.
He started mouthing off after that, pointing up and down.
Yeah.
I didn't even know he was on the bench.
I didn't know I thought he was still with the Yankees, to be honest with you. I actually thought
he was
that
with the Marlins for a while.
that's right. Yeah. I actually thought Sean Casey was still with them too, because he came on like midway through last year to be their bench or hitting coach or some kind of.
Oh, he got
consultant
ran
or
out of
whatever.
town, dude. People hated him there.
Really?
Yeah, well, I think the Yankees went in a big slump as soon as he took over. I think really it's just a product of the Yankees fans just being so fickle. I remember early in the season we were talking about how they were booing Aaron Judge off the field. Now he's the best player in baseball over the last 2 weeks or a month. So that's just Yankees fans. That's how it's going to go with them. Yeah. You guys want to? You guys have anything else in baseball? You want? Actually, let's do our That's a Shame segment.
Yeah.
Sure.
Our That's a Shame segment goes to Tucupita Marcano, the utility infielder for the San Diego Padres. Apparently placed over 230 bets on Major League Baseball with a 4.3% winning percentage. So that's a shame, Tucupita Marcano. You have lost your job and have no prospects because you're a terrible gambler. And I don't know what the hell is going to go on in your life, but I don't know. You guys have any thoughts on Tucupita Marcano?
Well, he's going to be the hell of a pit boss at some casino out in Vegas or Atlantic City.
Is he?
Yeah.
Is he though?
He's not going to start a gambling site to sell his picks. I know that for sure.
Yeah.
No, not at all.
My That's a Shame segment is, and we'll get into this a little bit later, is the WNBA. Not knowing how to handle Caitlin Clark and how she's being bullied right now. I think it's an absolute sham. And I don't want to hear racism. There's a ton of white women who have been very successful. Diana Taurasi, Sabrina Ionescu. They've been great for the WNBA. Caitlin Clark is bringing so much more exposure to the WNBA, and it seems like they don't know how to handle it. And so that's my That's a Shame segment.
Well, that was my That's a Shame segment. So I guess I'm gonna have to come up with another one along the way. So
yeah, we'll get into the Caitlin Clark stuff a little bit later when we talk about hoops. But first, I want to talk about football. Cowboys legend, Hall of Fame offensive guard Larry Allen passes away, 52 years old. I guess he was on vacation with his family in Mexico. I haven't seen any autopsy reports or anything. This news came out yesterday, but praying for the family of Larry Allen and all of his friends, and absolute total stud. He played 14 seasons in the NFL, made 11 Pro Bowls. At one point went on a run of 6 first-team All-Pros in a row. And in his 14 seasons, he had 13 holding calls total. So that's less than 1 holding call per season for his career. I thought that was an outrageous stat. Did you guys get to see? Obviously, I'm a little bit younger. Did you guys get to see him play for those 90s and early 2000s Cowboys teams? And what did you guys think about him?
I mean, very versatile. He did not play. I think the only position he did not play was center. He played both guard positions, both tackle positions. I actually thought he had more than 1 Super Bowl. Deli and I were talking about this a little bit earlier. The one thing I'll say about this is, you are an imposing figure when NFL players who are big men are getting the Larry Allen flu. All of a sudden, your hamstring hurts that week. Okay? They didn't want to mess with him. And I'll also say this. Unfortunately, one of Larry Allen's biggest highlights is him getting hucked by Reggie White. Reggie White hucked Larry Allen. This is a man who benched 700 pounds out of a huge one. So
he played right in the middle of 2 decades and made the all-decade team on both of them. Yeah, he was formidable, to say the least.
yeah, I'd say.
Yeah.
So it just 52. You have to believe a man that size. I don't know if he'd lost weight, but a man that size is going to have a large heart. Carrying a lot of weight around usually leads to heart failure, and it's a shame.
Yeah. Like I said, shout out to his family, his friends. Hopefully they'll be able to get through this, and people can give them the privacy they deserve and they need. In current NFL news, Justin Jefferson yesterday signed a record deal with the Vikings, 4 years, $140 million, including $110 million guaranteed. $35 million a year annually is the highest paid non-quarterback contract in NFL history. And we're assuming he's going to be setting the market for guys like T. Higgins, like Jamar Chase, like CD Lamb, who are looking for contracts, who are holding out at OTAs. What do you guys think about this contract and what it means for the future of wide receiver contracts?
I think J.J. McCarthy's head hit a ceiling fan when he found out that he is the best wide receiver. He can be able to throw to him for 5 more years. So that's what I thought about.
The people that were saying this is the wrong time to do it. I mean, what do you want to tell your young quarterback that you just drafted? Well, if you're good enough, we'll go get you a wide receiver. We have this wide receiver. Why not keep him? So to let him go because you have a young receiver, a young quarterback, would be the stupidest argument ever.
Yeah, whoever said
that argument.
Whoever said this was the wrong time is a complete moron. I couldn't think of a better time. You just brought in a rookie who you've got control over for 4 or 5 years. This is like the time that you can start paying people to put studs around them.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised they didn't wait for Jamar Chase, but I just don't think. I just don't think the Bengals have the money since Burrow's gotten paid to do this. But we'll see. We'll see how they structure that deal.
Well, to your point, that's really what the case is. One, to Dell's statement here, Mike Brown is an extremely cheap owner. Now, he did pay Joe Burrow, but once you pay that massive contract, you don't have that cap space, that cap flexibility to go ahead and make moves like this. T. Higgins on his franchise tag, he'll be gone after next year. Jamar Chase will get signed, no big deal. But the Vikings have this flexibility because Kirk D. Cousins now plays for the Atlanta Falcons with Michael Penix. So they have that ability on a rookie QB contract to go out and make a move like this.
Yeah. Back to my point, this is the perfect timing to do it. You got all the money in the world to play with now, and you got the best wide receiver in the game.
And nobody's arguing that he's not the best wide receiver out there. He's if you're going to spend it, he's the one.
And now because you have that rookie QB contract, you can sign I want to say his name is Christian Darrisaw. I think it's their left tackle. You can sign an offensive line around J.J. McCarthy, and I think they have Sam Darnold as the bridge QB. You have the flexibility now in Minnesota to make moves to make your team better.
Minnesota has one of the best offensive lines in the league and one of the best bookend combos with Christian Darrisaw and Brian O'Neill. They're both under contract for the next couple of years, and they're both very good players. Obviously, Justin Jefferson's going to help. Sam Darnold probably will start the season as their starting quarterback. I would imagine J.J. McCarthy will come in later in the season or maybe next year. We'll see, because Sam Darnold, I think, is on a 1-year, $10 million deal.
And in 2 years,
the problem with the Vikings is their defense. Yeah.
In 2 years, if the GM hates this quarterback and you've made a mistake, now you got a great offensive line in place and the best wide receiver in football, and it's a whole lot easier to attract a veteran quarterback to try to win it, to make a winning football team when you got this guy in place.
You can go sign Zach Wilson.
I think Zach Wilson's on the Bears. I'm not 100% sure, but I think I saw him on the Bears.
No, he's.
I don't think he's going to have an impact very much wherever he is. That guy stinks. Broncos, maybe.
Broncos.
I'm not surprised Jamar Chase, T. Higgins didn't sign. I think a lot of people wanted Justin Jefferson because he's recognized as the best receiver to set the market. Now those guys can go and say, okay, I'm not as good as Justin Jefferson, but I can get $32 million instead of $35 million. From what Adam Schefter said on Pat McAfee yesterday is that last year, Justin Jefferson actually the day before the season started or training camp started had a $28 per year $1 million deal lined up, and he turned it down, bet on himself, kind of the Joe Flacco situation from Super Bowl year. And now he turned it into $7 million more per year for 4 more years. So what is that? That's $28 million extra dollars that he got. That pays his taxes.
And it's a staggering guarantee.
Yeah,
not bad. Not bad.
110 guaranteed. Like we said, the next dominoes that are going to fall are probably going to be CD Lamb and Jamar Chase. I don't think T. Higgins is in the class of those guys. Obviously, Jefferson is the best guy in the league, if not one of the best. You can argue Tyreek Hill or somebody else or Chase, but I think Jefferson has been the most consistent and as good at everything as any other receiver in the NFL. I think CD Lamb is going to be the next guy looking for the contract, but also they're looking to extend Dak. They're looking to extend Micah Parsons. The Cowboys are in a
They're in a
world of
rough
trouble.
spot.
Yeah, they're in a really rough spot. I don't know. They're obviously going to have to pick and choose who they want to keep and who they want to let go. I don't think personally that you can let a player like Micah Parsons walk. He is a complete game wrecker. And I don't think you can let CD Lamb walk after the last couple of years he's had. So we'll see. It's going to be interesting to see what the Cowboys do moving forward.
I'll disagree with you. Wide receivers are a dime a dozen now. They're becoming the new version of the running back. Now the salaries are double from what the running backs get paid. But Jerry Jones would fire the GM of the owner. Jerry Jones would fire GM Jerry Jones if he had, if he wasn't doing Botox cocktails on a regular basis. But that also being said, Micah Parsons is way more valuable than CeeDee Lamb because you can find a couple wide receivers in the second, third, fourth, fifth round, whatever you name that. You see Antonio Brown, and I'm going to fucking punch in the face later. But that being said, I really do believe that the Cowboys are screwed. The Vikings are in a great spot. The Cowboys are going to go down. They should probably rehire Dave Campo to be their coach. He did a great job. So
they could go for Wade Phillips.
Oh yeah, why not? He's in like the USFL or AFL or whatever the hell it's called now.
I don't know what Wade Phillips is doing, dude.
No, yeah, he's in one of those leagues. But so hearing somebody talk about this recently, actually on a sports show, Jerry Jones is actually like pretty cheap in the sense that like he's not going to fire somebody and pay them not to coach. He'll just let the contract run out and be done with it and not bring them back. So this is the last year for Big Mike over there.
Yeah.
Do we think with
remember
Belichick?
When he got signed, Mike McCarthy got signed, and he had a sleepover at Jerry Jones' house.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Do we think that this is like with Belichick doing all the media he's going to be doing this year? He's going to win over a lot of fan bases. I think people are actually going to start liking him because I mean, he was awesome on McAfee's show. He was really funny and really did a good job of breaking down and making people smarter about the game of football. I could definitely see Jerry bringing him in, but he's 72 years old. So you got to realize this is going to be his last couple years. And will that attract other people to come?
When you're $20 million over the cap, I don't care how much you can educate somebody. If you don't have players, who gives a shit?
Well, they got
the last game of the season. Who gives a shit? Who cares?
Realistically, they got the talent. And like you said, CeeDee Lamb might be the odd man out here because wide receivers, right?
Yep.
Or
see what they did with Amari Cooper a couple years ago. They traded him for a 6th-round pick.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Got another deal.
Just something to think about.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. With Belichick and Vrabel both being coaching free agents, so to speak, it's going to be interesting to see next year. I think Vrabel is going to be the number one priority. If I was an owner, Vrabel would be number one priority for me.
How he doesn't have a job right now blows my mind.
It's mind-blowing to me.
Good-looking man too, by the way. He's going top 5 in the Hawkeye draft, but we'll do that later. But I with how much Bill Belichick reveres the New York Giants, I really see if Brian Daboll has any kind of hiccup and he gets let go at the end of the year, I can see Bill Belichick going back there. If you watch the 2 Bills 30 for 30, he starts crying when he walks into like the weight room and stuff like that. So I can see that happening. And they have a better cap situation.
Yeah. The problem is their quarterback went to Duke and he stinks. Speaking of the Giants, it looks like Darren Waller is probably going to retire. They traded a 2nd-round pick for him last year. He was able to play like 11 or 12 games, had like 500 or 600 receiving yards, wasn't able to play the whole year. He's been hurt a lot. That's kind of been the theme of his career after his obviously the stuff that happened with the Ravens. But had a pretty good career for what we expected after his first few. And he said that the decision is going to be coming soon, but the Giants and people close to the situation both expect that he will retire. You guys have any thoughts on that, on Darren Waller in general?
Before Dell chimes in, one thing I want to bring up, it's not really well known, but they did mention it a little bit on a couple of different syndicated broadcasts. he's got a lot of emotional stuff going on with his wife and him getting divorced. And as a guy who went through emotional and physical, substance abuse, this probably has to weigh on him a lot. And I wonder if the reason that it hasn't come out yet is because he's still trying to go through something with his, I guess, wife or ex-wife, whatever that situation may be.
From what I've heard, for a 6th-round pick, he's proven to be a hell of a talent. He has maintained this. From what I read, he's still sober, but yeah, he's going through a divorce, and I'm sure that's a big reason that if he does decide to retire, not at the prime of his career, but a lot of hay left to make it 41.
I didn't know they were getting divorced. Did they just get married like last year, 2 years ago?
They've been married for a year. It came out, I think, a week or two ago. It's him and Kelsey Plum, who's also a WNBA star. We're getting into that in a bit.
Yeah.
But
hey, look, you know what? If he retires, well done for fixing a bad situation, making something out of yourself. Obviously, the marital stuff, that's personal and that's away from the field. But I mean, good for him to turn his life around. That's awesome.
Yeah.
How many athletes have we seen fall into this trap when they were young and they never been able to climb themselves out? And he was able to do it. So good for him for making a career for himself. He got paid. He got a nice contract, so he's going to be good.
I'll let Del tell the line he told me earlier today in the kitchen.
I forgot.
Chris McAllister signed a $50 million deal. He's living in his mom's basement.
True story. True story.
Oh, man.
All
right.
Georgia Tech. Never got the ball thrown to him.
Georgia Tech.
Think
Can you guys name
Calvin Johnson and Darren Waller came out of Georgia Tech.
And Demarius Thomas.
Like, they got the triple option, dude. 10 times a year.
Triple
that's
option,
like,
dude.
I know. That was nuts. And like that's like Pitt. Like Pitt gets the wide receivers that come out of there like studs out of nowhere.
That's another thing I wanted to bring up before we get on football.
Macklin, I think, went to Pitt.
How in the flying hell has LSU not won like 6 national championships? They were defensive back university for forever. Now they're wide receiver university. They had Joe Burrow. Come on. Jalen Daniels just won the frickin' Heisman. How they not won like 2 or 3 national championships?
Well, now they got that dumb dip. Well, now they got that dipshit down there that I hate from Notre Dame.
Tried to speak in the accent. Yeah, that genius.
Oh yeah,
Brian.
Oh my God, Brian
Kelly.
Yeah, he's the best.
Brian Kelly.
The guy who ran up the GA up the tower when it was windy out at Notre Dame and got him killed.
Oh yeah, Garrett Altman or something like that. God, why can I remember that?
I'm going to blame LSU's lack of success on Zach Mettenberger because fuck that guy.
Zach
Mettenberger.
He's the most random guy that we will bring up on the podcast today, I hope. But maybe not. We'll see. Going to hoops real quick. We're going to talk about just quickly because none of us are huge basketball fans here, but we do want to talk about it just because it's happening. The NBA Finals start on Thursday night. Boston is minus 210 to win the NBA Finals over Dallas, who's plus 175. Dallas heralded as having one of the best offensive backcourts in the history of the league with Luka and Kyrie. And Boston is just the most complete team. They have the most depth, and they've been the best team all year. They're 76-20 between regular season and playoffs. So if they win this series, they will have 80 wins, which I think has only been done. It hasn't been done very often. I can't remember the exact stat, but if Boston wins, if they win the championship, they'll
probably that Warriors team where they had 70 wins, like 70-11.
Yeah, the 86 Celtics, I think, were the record for a long time. But anyway, we were talking about them last week. That's why they come to. But while we're talking about hoops, we mentioned Caitlin Clark stuff earlier. Brian wants to rant about this a little bit, so we're going to give the floor to you for a second.
I don't want to rant about it too much. I mean, I wish the WNBA would do a little bit of a better job. They have an opportunity right now to really sell themselves, make their franchises a little bit more money. They really have this up pretty good. The refs aren't giving calls. I mean, you can actually see the woman. I forget the young lady's name. I think it also might be Clark, who like hip checked her. She says the B word to her. She says bitch to her right before she hip checks her on a blatant, like it's blatantly just. It's a dirty play. It's a bush league play. Then you have Angel Reese, who's also very jealous of Caitlin Clark, to the point that when she won a national title with LSU, she didn't celebrate with her team. She actually went and taunted Caitlin Clark. Like that tells you a little bit something about the person, and that's a former Terp.
Yeah.
So me saying something about a former Terp is I'm passionate about it. Look, people are knocking Caitlin Clark for not being successful right out of the gate. But let me tell you something. I don't know how many social media followers or people are watching you with cameras when you're a firefighter for the first day, or an accountant for the first day, or a bartender for the first day. People aren't ridiculing you for everything you do on the first day on the job, or even the first 2 weeks on the job. Let the girl or let the woman develop, and she will. And in 2 years from now, we'll probably look back on it and go, okay, she did a great job, and she went through a lot of hell. And wait till Paige Beckers gets here next year, and Juju Watkins from USC get here next year. Wait till you see them come up. And they're going to deal with the same BS that Caitlin Clark's dealing with right now. She looks exhausted. She looks tired. So it's like the Iowa stuff and the current Indiana Fever stuff is taking a lot out of her. And let's also throw a fact out there. She's on a fucking terrible team. They're 2-8.
Yeah.
I don't understand why that center for the Fever is not getting thrown out of games to protect this girl. You shove my star. I mean, go watch a you shove my star and you're going to pay.
I mean, when Wayne Gretzky came up, did people take care of Wayne Gretzky? They had an enforcer who would take care of Wayne Gretzky. I want some 6'8" woman who's over there on the baseline, doesn't even really come over to help her up. I want her to start mashing people. Let's go.
Dude, that bothers me. That bothers me the most about this whole thing. Her teammates should be coming to her defense right now. And like you said, like rising tides raises all boats, right? Like she is the reason why they have private planes right now on every single team. Her alone. Everyone keeps saying it's this new class that came in. It's fucking her. It's her. Yeah. I don't care what Angel Reese can say, like, I want my flowers too. I'm the villain, blah, 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 bullshit. No, not at all. Like, I think McAfee went over on a show yesterday, like, hey, let's see where all these ratings are coming from. Like, who's providing all these ratings? It's fucking Caitlin Clark. And you know what? Like, she got offered a shit ton of money to go play on the 3v3 thing with Ice Cube. A lot more money than she would make in the NBA. There's another NBA star who's probably the best to ever do it, that's starting her own league as well on the side, like a 3v3 one-on-one kind of league on the side. I mean, you're going to run your best players out of this fucking league, especially if they're going to be getting paid more money. You got
right now. And now look, these ladies are not taking steam locomotives to games. They're taking charter flights now because of Caitlin Clark.
Mm-hmm.
Period.
Yeah.
Do
I care?
Around it.
I don't care like about them playing physical with her and kind of giving her welcome to the WNBA moment and trying to get in her head because they know she's a stud. I don't mind that. That's just being an athlete. Like, but for you to come out and say some of the shit in your post-game conferences and stuff like that, and the media, the way that they're kind of treating everything, like they are just single-handedly just ruining this opportunity that they have right now.
It's a little frustrating.
Any thoughts on that?
I'm shocked that her teammates aren't even on social media coming out in her support, supporting her, because she's a star, on that court, and and it's shown already. But I thought it was a little odd that her teammates did not rally around her more than they did.
And when that happens, like my mind goes to like maybe she's a bad teammate, but then like everybody at Iowa, all of her teammates there love her, absolutely love her, and they all knew that she was getting all the attention. But they loved her.
Cal Ripken? I think Delaware Dave might have come out of the stands to punch that player.
I know Wild Bill would have come out of the stands. They need to start watching more hockey. Yeah, if somebody laid their hands on Sidney Crosby or Alex Ovechkin, then the enforcer on the team is going to let them know about it right away. You can't touch that person. So yeah, I think I totally agree. I think Matt Barnes was saying this. I can't remember what medium he was on Sports Talk Radio yesterday was saying this. Matt Barnes obviously used to be teammates with Kobe Bryant, played against him. Yeah, he was saying the same thing. Like if anybody ever touched Kobe, we were going to be over there immediately trying to kill them. Like you can't do that shit to Kobe.
He got traded to the Kings. About a week later, his enforcer got traded to the Kings. McSorley came to the Kings right after because I'm sure that was a request.
He followed him everywhere.
Yeah. Why wouldn't you?
Yeah, absolutely. You can hit your wagon to that guy.
Yeah, I think he went to what? I think he went to all three teams or all the teams that he played for.
He did.
Yeah,
he did. And it's just the WNBA needs to lock this up. Just get it done. All right.
Yeah.
The jealousy factor, like this, almost stems from.
Starts with the media.
A league. Well, I'll give you the media. Brooks, you're entirely right with the media. This also seems like a league that isn't ready to become an adult. It's still a toddler or it's still an adolescent. Like it just seems like they need to figure out how to better themselves because they have a unicorn. Use it.
The league's losing money like that Giants outfit Tukapu Maracana. Like that guy making bets. I mean,
I don't know if anybody's losing money like him.
4.5%.
Sorry to Drew Burton, who I kind of threw a stray to earlier.
All right, Dusty, go into golf.
He's self-proclaimed. All right, we're going to talk about a little golf. Canadian Open was this week. As I expected, the rink hole was awesome. They have the 12th hole was a par 3. They had the hockey boards on the side. They had 2 goalie masks as the tee markers. But yeah, Robert McIntyre comes out of nowhere. Well, not necessarily out of nowhere. Comes out of left field a little bit. He's had an unsteady rotation of caddies since the Ryder Cup. He's been kind of looking for a caddy that he gels with. He's had a couple different ones. They didn't work out. I guess after last week, he decided he wanted to leave those relationships behind and look for a new caddy. But he needed somebody for this week in an emergency, and so he called his dad. And his dad was on the bag for him this week, and they freaking won. And he won his first golf tournament. Pretty cool. I always root for the lefties, so I've taken notice to this guy. He was really good on the DP World Tour for the last couple of years, which is the Euro Tour, if you guys aren't familiar. And he's finally on the PGA Tour full time this year. He came in the top 10 in the PGA Championship a couple weeks ago. So he's been hitting the ball well, and he just came out of nowhere this week. I actually had a little $5 bonus bet on him to win, and he won. That was cool, 75 to 1. Did you guys watch this tournament? You have any thoughts on Robert McIntyre?
Yeah, it's definitely Long John Silver. I loved every second of it.
But his dad at the end said they asked him, and his answer was, "I'm a grass cutter," because I guess he does work.
Yeah, he's familiar.
Well, he's a greenskeeper, right? Something like that.
Yeah, he used the term grass cutter.
He's a grass cutter. That's what he said.
I know. That was a special moment. I didn't love. I mean, for all intents and purposes, I do like McIntyre, but I didn't love how he was. His ears were a little listening to everything else other than paying attention to what he was doing. He was kind of shitty to. Yeah, he was kind of shitty to some people. And it's something where even like when the announcers, after it happened again, like I think it was the second or third time, they were like, well, I mean, because he was pissed off that a drone, like he could hear a drone. It's like, well, he's going to have to get used to this if he's going to be playing on the tour, because this is kind of the future of how we're going to be covering golf and sports in general. So just like this is a little ridiculous. Didn't love how he was like trying to get the guy kicked off the course. That, I mean, a media, like the guy that works for like the channel that was televising it was trying to get a rules official over and all this different stuff, and didn't love that. But everything else, like at the end with his dad, I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, that's cool. I didn't know about that stuff. That's sick.
What is it about left-handed golfers being just human rain delays on the golf course? Because Ryan Harmon, when he won the Open Championship last year, got so much shit because he waggles the club 600 times before he swings. And now Robert McIntyre, the group in front of them was finished 18 when they were teeing off on 15. So I don't know what the hell's going on with these left-handed golfers, but I'm going to tell you this as a left-handed golfer who plays very fast and very poorly. It's not that hard. Just go to your ball and fucking hit it. It's not that hard.
What do they call Steve Traxel, the left-handed pitcher? They called him the human rain delay.
Yeah.
Because he would take forever. He would not be able to play in the game with the pitch clock now.
Yeah, I mean, more people should be like Mark Burley and just try to throw complete games in less than 2 hours. I love that guy.
He pitched like he was double parked. I mean, he would get the ball.
So who was Fluff working for this week? 72-year-old Fluff fell down.
Yeah.
Got hurt, they pulled some guy fatter than me out of the stands.
Yeah.
I mean that guy. I want that guy on the podcast. I mean,
Fluff, by the way, is the man. He's 70 plus year old cat. He's still doing his thing. And actually, Tiger, when he first came up, had Fluff on the bag for a couple tournaments. And there's a video of Fluff smoking a cigarette on whatever course they're playing at, and he was trying to get a read on the wind, and he holds his cigarette up in the air like this, trying to see where the smoke was blowing off the cigarette to see where the wind was going.
Use all the tools
good for Fluff. He's got a fantastic mustache. Yeah.
He's lost a ton of weight since then. I know he's had some some physical stuff, but yeah, that dude is the man. I want that picture of him holding his cigarette up with like trying to judge the wind with Tiger next to him. Like I want it framed in my office somewhere. Yeah. Fluff is awesome.
Other notable finishers this week, Rory and Tom Kim were paired together on Saturday and Sunday. They shot 65 on Saturday and they shot 64 on Sunday, both of them. They were just kind of egging each other on, I guess, the whole weekend, just seeing who could shoot a lower score. They both finished T4 at 3 shots back of the lead. Number 1 Canadian in the field this week was Corey Connors. Had to mention that because we are a Canadian pro Canadian Cup podcast, according to Brian Rogers and myself. He hits the ball really well, but he sucks at putting. If he could figure out his putter, he'd win a lot more golf tournaments. Sam Burns, T10, Cam Young, T14, Tommy Fleetwood was up in the top 20. A couple big names out there as we move into the Memorial this week. The Memorial is Jack's tournament. It's at Muirfield Village in Dublin, Ohio. I guess it's just outside of Columbus. Yeah. And Victor Hovland won this tournament last year in a playoff over Denny McCarthy. Denny McCarthy, local guy we've talked about before. He is 75. He was 75-1 yesterday. Now he's 70-1. But his last 4 tournaments, he's got 2 top 10s. Or last 5 tournaments, he's got 2 top 10s. And he came in second in place in this tournament last year. So if you're looking for a guy to take a long shot on, 75-1. This is the thing we did with Nick Taylor earlier this year. This guy's got a history of playing well at this course. He's playing well right now. So those are the first 2 things you look at when you want to bet golf. That's a guy I like down the board this week. And then obviously Scotty Scheffler is the odds-on favorite to win any golf tournament he's going to be playing in. He came third in this tournament last year, missed the playoff by a shot. He is plus 360 to win this golf tournament, which is just outlandish. Difficult to bet on.
I want to say this as well before we move on to the draft. Good for the Louisville police scrubbing the Scotty Scheffler shit. I mean, come on. Yeah. Thank you. It's over with. It's done. Thank you. We can all move on now. We can enjoy the U.S. Open in 2 weeks.
Yep.
We don't got to continue to have this narrative. Yeah. So good. Well done.
About time.
Yeah. Anybody else have any thoughts on golf tournament this week? The U.S. Open is next week at Pinehurst. What do you guys want to discuss this before we move into our draft?
I've got 3. I guess some of the viral stuff that went out this weekend for golf stuff. One, Charlie Hall just banging darts on the golf course. Anybody see that? That was pretty fucking awesome. So she's like smoking in between holes, like, and then like she's signing autographs, has a cigarette in her mouth, obviously can't hold the cigarette, so she's just like puffing on it and signing autographs at the same time. Like, looks like the women's version of John Daly, but obviously much better looking. She said, well, I started. She's like, I'm smoking cigarettes because I'm trying to quit vaping.
Love that.
The Uncle Buck methodology. I'm going stars.
Yeah. So I thought that was kind of funny. What were the other two that I had?
Yeah, this poor lady like a mouthful of Zins or a real lipper.
Yeah.
I'll go hammer. Kirsten does the zips or the zins or whatever those things are called.
Yeah.
She doesn't spit like a spittoon, so it's not as.
And then Rory's divorce we talked about, obviously, but everything's been going ballistic about him having a relationship with that reporter. What's her name? Basansis or Beliansis or whatever.
Balionis.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So a ton of rumors about that, and apparently that interview they had at the end of the round this weekend was super awkward between the two of them.
She's married as well. I think they are currently both married or soon to be divorced.
Both.
Yeah, they're both going through divorces. Obviously, nobody's confirmed that there is a relationship, but everyone online seems to think there is, and it probably usually when there's smoke, there's fire. You
Judging
can tell
how
in the
awkward
interview
that
they
was.
look a little awkward. Yeah, so yeah, that was awkward. I do want to bring up a little breaking news real quick. Shohei Ohtani's former long-timer interpreter Ippei Mizuhara has pleaded guilty to bank and tax fraud charges, and his total maximum sentence is 33 years in prison. Sentencing is set for October, so we'll see.
All right, Dell. Is he the fall guy? Is he the fall guy?
What a scapegoat! He doesn't even have to pay him because he's going to jail forever. I mean, Barry Bonds paid him a ton of money to keep his mouth shut.
Maybe that's why Ohtani deferred everything to 38 years from now. So,
well, I mean, 33-year max sentence. He's probably going to get like 5.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to pay me a lot of money to go to jail for 5 years. I mean, what was Bonds' trainer? He was in Kelton contempt for 6 months. I mean,
Greg Anderson.
Yeah. Judge asks him every day, you got any information? No. Go back to jail.
He's probably going to be a billion. I mean, Shohei's probably going to be a billionaire by the end of his career. So, I mean, he's probably got a lot of money to give.
That's going in interest-bearing account. I guarantee it.
Yeah.
Whenever he gets out of jail or wherever he's going to end up going, he needs to start a podcast with Tucapita Marcano, and they need to give out gambling picks because that would be fantastic.
On the note of gambling, let's start drafting shit.
Yeah. So this week's draft is going to be our least favorite athletes, sports personalities. This is not going to be limited to just athletes. We're going to use broadcasters and coaches as well. Every person's going to get 5 picks. We're going to do it snake draft style as we do for all of our drafts. We are Maryland-based fans, and as such, we will likely have a lot of Maryland-based biases in these rankings. Not necessarily all of them, but I will tell you for sure that I will be selecting somebody from Duke. I will probably be selecting somebody from the Yankees. So yeah, let's just get into it.
You gotta play to the voters a little bit, because all of our voters are Maryland people, so they're like, yeah, you gotta play to that card a little bit.
I'm not playing game to the voters. I've had 2 great drafts, and you guys have screwed me. So screw you.
You're no way, dude. I'll give
things from Arby's on the fast food draft, dude. Arby's steaks.
Dude, you had to think like everybody voting on that was big Hardee's fans or something.
Arby's.
The sports movie one is bullshit. I crushed the sports movie.
Yeah, I could give you that one.
The sports movie one we need to redo down the line just because we weren't prepared for that, and I kind of thrust that upon you guys late. We'll get into that later. Let's do our least favorite athletes, and
everybody
Delaware's
loves
to start us off.
So Delaware's got first pick. Athletes you want to punch in the face, and sports broadcasters and/or coaches.
So I'm going to take Brooks's advice, and I'm going to draft to win. And my first choice will be everyone's favorite punch, delivered by Mr. Ruth Neto-Dor. I will be taking Mr. Jose Batista.
Wow.
Yeah. He was very high on my board as well.
You want to talk about it's the cream pick? I mean, I'm the easy pick. I'll take Jose Batista.
I like it.
Brooks, you got pick number 2.
Number 2 pick is Brooks.
Is off the board.
Yeah, man. Do I go with current or just overall? Current most hated, or I will go. I gotta go. This is a first round pick for me, JJ Redick.
Yeah, I think JJ Redick.
Do I hate him now? No, but he was the most hated player in the country at the time, and obviously by Maryland and North Carolina fans. So
I'm going third pick overall. I'm going Antonio Brown.
He's going with AB. I don't blame you at all. One of the best receivers I've ever seen play football for sure. Can't fucking stand him. Oh my God, I've got so many ways I can go with this.
I know.
The most punchable guy in sports for me when I was growing up, and the guy I hated the most when I was growing up is Hines Ward. Whenever he would put that stupid little smile on his face after he caught a first down and got absolutely lit up, it just made me want to kill him. So Hines Ward's going to be down number 1 for me, and Chris Mad Dog Russo is going to go number 2. Fuck that guy.
Good one.
I absolutely hate Mad Dog Russo. When he is on MLB Network, I turn the television off or I change the channel. It is the worst. I can't stand him. We'll go from there. Brian, you got the next one.
With my pick, I'm going with a person that unfortunately committed murder. I'm going Oscar Pistorius.
Oh wow!
Wow,
that was not a name I thought I was going to hear today.
Me neither.
Wow, I didn't even think about potential murderers.
Shocked, Brian left the easy pick for up there on the board that I thought for sure he was taking first.
No. Brooksy, you have it. You're up, and then you got Deli with 2, and my number 1 overall pick on the board because I don't think anyone would get it. But Del's looking at my sheet.
Well, it's on my list.
Well, I mean, if you're going to show him your cards, what are you doing? All right. Shit, man. Let's go. I mean, I'm not going to stick with that. Let's go. I mean, let's just go LeBron because across the country, I feel like across the country, he's one of the most hated people or loved. It's one or the other.
There you go. LeBron James. Surprising pick. One of the best
players of
all time.
Well, since we're playing the Blue Jays this week, I'm going to take my second Blue Jay in a row.
Wow.
Finished his career. He's taking to finish his career in New York, but I'm taking my another Blue Jay. I'm taking Josh Donaldson.
Ooh.
Oh man!
Wow. Good one.
Yes.
We talked extensively on here about how much we do not like him after he retired.
But I was told that I could open this up to. I was thinking about taking a media personality, but I think I'm gonna switch. I'm gonna take. I would never punch this guy in the face ever because I'd be scared to death. I might run over him with my truck. I'm gonna take professional boxer Floyd Mayweather.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, he was on my list as well.
There you go, Floyd Mayweather.
Brooksy, you're up, buddy.
Brooksy, you are up.
I am going to go with Shoe. Is he the most hated? I'm gonna go with OJ Simpson.
Ooh,
sticking with the murder trend.
Yeah. I'm actually going for like really shitty human beings. That's like where my mindset was. Like if you're a
fair.
Yeah.
So I am gonna go with Hope Solo.
Okay,
this is
and you wonder why you lose these.
Okay, well I'm gonna take a man who could not get both feet on the ground. I'm gonna take Aaron Hernandez.
Oh, okay.
I feel kind of left out of the only one without a murderer.
I know, right?
Man, I could take the Pouncies too and just get all the Florida guys. I'm just because when we first pitched this, it was most punchable faces in sports, and I'm going to tell you the most punchable face in sports right now is Nick Sirianni, head coach of the Philadelphia Eagles. I absolutely fucking hate that guy. I hate his face. I hate him. I hate everything about him. I hate that team. Fuck Nick Sirianni.
I'm gonna do a guest pick. Brian, you want to go ahead and give the guest pick? I'm up.
He needs some help.
He's stretching here.
All right.
He's stretching.
Brian needs some help.
Is going to go ahead and give us his pick, and it can go on my sheet.
I'm going to go with Angel Hernandez.
Shit, that was mine. That was my next one.
Damn, Angel Hernandez is such a good answer.
Hey,
God
I didn't even think about referees.
We got two.
Think about referees.
You got two A Hernandez's on. You actually have to write it out.
That was my next pick. God damn it, Eater.
That's a great pick, dude. I didn't even think about that.
That was the help you needed because Rogers, your draft sucks up until that.
Antonio Brown.
Yeah, AB's good. I mean, you can't fuck up the number one
these
overall.
are all terrible people.
You're ready to
All right, I'm gonna go most hated. I would say, give me Sue, the Ndamukong Suh.
Ooh.
That's a good one. Stepping on dudes' faces, not cool.
Yeah, not cool. He did some questionable things. I agree with that. Ndamukong Suh. There's no way I spelled that right, but I tried.
Deli's got 2 to close out his draft.
He's got 2 Blue Jays and a prize fighter.
I'm going to go media on this one because I was informed right before this started that you could go media. And we've got one media guy off, but I'm going to take the second, and I'm going to take Skip Bayless.
Skip Bayless is a great answer.
Yeah,
Could have gone a lot earlier in the draft, I think. Yeah, great answer. And you have your final pick there, Delaware.
My final pick. This is a tough one. I'm going to go personal experience on this one. I'm going to actually. So I have 2 Yankees and 2 Blue Jays, or 3, 2. Another.
He's going lefty golfer. He's going lefty golfer, and you're not going to pick him. You're not going to pick him, Dusty. You're not going to be able to get him.
We're going to go with Yankee catcher Jorge Posada.
Wow, Posada.
Hip hip.
And I got personal experience on this. I watched the guy tip $2 on a $200 check to my friend Nancy at the restaurant next door where I worked, and Derek Jeter himself scratched out the tip and made it $50, and everybody laughed at him. The man was going to tip Nancy $2, multi-millionaire with all kinds of teammates around, $2.
What an asshole!
And
What a dick.
I'm going with Posada.
What did Nancy do to Jorge?
Oh man.
Everybody else was just throwing money at her, and he because he's just cheap and jerk. That's all I got. That's all I have to say.
That's all you got. That's all I got to say about that. Brooksy, you're up. Close out your draft, man.
Yeah, I'm having a hard time with this last one.
All the ones Brian and I discussed what we thought were going to be top picks are all still out there.
Still out on the board. I got a lot.
Yeah, I mean, I'll go Tom Brady.
Wow.
I think he's probably one of the more hated people throughout the fan bases.
Now, after we're done
best
here,
athletes on his list.
We can keep this very short post the draft, but I do have a couple honorable mentions. I'm going to take one. This gentleman was up for the batting title. He did not want to play the last 2 games of the season because he wanted to make sure that he won the batting title. So while his team was in the pennant race, he did not play on purpose, and that is Mr. Melky Cabrera.
Wow. I totally forgot about him. He's also a steroid guy, by the way.
Yeah.
So
And he was juicing the same year. So, look, I don't care if I lose this draft. I hate that guy. You stand up for your teammates. You play to win a pennant. And this guy was like, I want to win a batting title. I'm batting like 306 on the year. Go screw yourself.
I really want to take Patrick Reed or Sergio, but I can't go through this draft without taking a player from Duke. And this is going to be a niche pick. I'm not even trying to win. I'm just going to do it because I hate the guy. Kyle Singler played for Duke in 2010, and Just,
Okay.
I mean, one of the ugliest dudes I've ever seen in my whole life. And I have so many guys I left off this list that I wanted to mention, but I'm sure we all do.
Let's start with Dell and let's go through each one's list about who did not get drafted, who's left on each person's list. I think this would be fun.
Oh, this could be great.
The one I can't believe didn't get drafted is I still want the $150 that he owes the Orioles for smashing that fucking phone in the dugout, and that's David Ortiz.
Okay. Okay.
I want my $100.
Yeah.
Who else you got? You got
my golfer was Davis Love the third.
Really?
He's just it's well. First off, his name. I just want to punch him in the face because his name is David. you country club fucking. And then
he screams white privilege.
Yeah. My race car driver you got pulled out right away, and that was Kyle Busch. And that's everything on my list. That's all of them.
I got a couple, and I know it's going to be on your list too, so I'm going to go Ozzie Guillen, Cito Gaston, Ryan Lochte, Lance Armstrong, Nick Kyrgios, the tennis player who's a douche, obviously Sergio, Greg Norman, Draymond Green, Barry Bonds.
Oh, Draymond's a good one.
Zach Wilson, and then the biggest one for me, Lamar fucking Ball. What a douche. I want to beat him with his own feet.
Fair. All fair. I had I had a bunch here. I didn't know which way I wanted to go with this. Most punchable, most hateable by Maryland fans, most hateable by most fan bases, whatever. I got Bonds, A-Rod, Vic, Canseco, Boozer, Leitner, Ray Rice wouldn't have been a popular pick with us, but I think around the country, I think everyone remembers what happened. Belichick, Angel Reese, Conor McGregor, Crosby, Tyson, Watson. I think I said Vic already. Trevor Bauer, Terrell Owens, Harper, Roethlisberger, Pete Rose, and that's
Patrick King. Patrick King is one. He's beating up taxi cab drivers.
Yeah, I think I missed a big opportunity by not taking Coach K instead of Kyle Singler, but
yeah,
whatever.
I think everyone respects Coach K at least.
Yeah.
Lance Armstrong.
Yeah.
Lance Armstrong was great in the movie Dodgeball, so I'm going to give him a pass. Brooks, I have a couple for you. Brooks hates Carlos Gomez with the power of 1,000 burning suns. He was the guy who used to pimp singles for the Brewers all the time. John Shire's on my list. Nestor Cortez. Jonathan Papelbon's on my list. Fuck that guy. Trevor Bauer. Fuck that guy. Edwin Encarnacion because of that absolute shot he hit off Ubaldo Jimenez. The whole 2014 Kansas City Royals. On my list. Jeffrey Mayer. We didn't even say Jeffrey Mayer.
Oh, what are we doing?
Yeah, what are we doing, dude?
I thought about taking him with my last pick, but I did not. Jeffrey Mayer.
We didn't have any Astros players, any drum gate players on it. Nobody took any of them.
Jason Grimsley, Albert Bell.
How do we miss Jeffrey Mayer as Baltimore?
I didn't miss him. I just didn't pick him.
Well, dude, you're a moron then.
Well, I'm a lot younger than you guys. I don't remember all this stuff. I have
Sorry,
a lot
guys.
Of, sports thoughts.
He was a kid
Obviously, these are we're not going to ever see him play. We sports hate these guys, so to speak. Some of these guys actually hate because they're murderers and terrible human beings. But for the most part, this was fun, and these are sports hatreds. We were not actively. I'm not actively trying to fight Heinz Ward because he would absolutely destroy me in a fight.
You would love him if he wore purple his last 3 years.
Yeah, Draymond Green, Greg Norman.
Yeah. This has been our draft. There's probably some things you're going to disagree with, as we've found out. I get several Instagram notifications every week saying, "How'd you forget this?" or "Why didn't you pick this?" So that's going to happen, I'm sure, every week. But yeah, we'll go through this draft just one last time. Delaware, his final team is Jose Bautista, Josh Donaldson, Floyd Mayweather, Skip Bayless, and Jorge Posada.
That's solid.
Brooks's team is JJ Redick, LeBron James, OJ Simpson, Tom Brady, and Ndamukong Suh. Definitely the most athletic of the group, 100%. He's got LeBron and Tom Brady, who are two of the greatest athletes of all time. Brian has Antonio Brown, Oscar Pistorius, Hope Solo, Angel Hernandez, and Melky Cabrera. And I have Hines Ward, Chris Mad Dog Russo, Aaron Hernandez, Nick Sirianni, and Kyle Singler.
Nick Sirianni.
So we're going to put these up on social media. We'll make a little bit of a graphic that you guys can pick who your favorite draft
more
is.
murderers than we do coaches or media people.
I know.
Man, we could have did a top 10.
We could.
We really could have.
But
yeah, if you want to see us expand our list, or if you have any ideas for drafts we can do, maybe throw them in the comments. We'll throw this up on Instagram, Twitter, all those socials and everything. We want to plug Pig and Rooster and the Chasseur in Canton. These are our friends, Brian in Delaware. Brian's obviously hosting with us every week. Delaware is going to be sort of a semi-regular guest. Yeah, we want to support their businesses and all of our local businesses around Baltimore. So go check those places out. Anything else you guys want to plug or talk about before we go?
I'm good. It's always good seeing you guys. Remember, talk to people. We talked about the mental health stuff the last couple of weeks. Everyone take care of themselves. My favorite part about this podcast always I get to talk to my friends on a regular basis. It helps me out a lot. So it's good seeing everybody. I'm glad Deli could join us today. Let Brian Eater go ahead and give his little guest pick in on Angel Hernandez. That's all I got. No, it's always good seeing you guys. I'll let Del close up anything he has.
You covered it all. Appreciate you guys having me on.
Awesome.
Thanks for joining us, Deli.
Would love you to subscribe, like, whatever, share it with your friends. If you want to come on, shoot us a message. We're not against having other people in that just want to talk baseball, sports with us, or just want to bullshit. We don't care.
Yep.
Anything going on in Canton, Ocean City this week, guys, that we can talk about that we missed?
I don't really think so. Just Orioles out of town. So I mean, a lot of people going to the bars, watching the games and stuff on TV.
If you're in Ocean City, you can go check out that. You can go see Dustin at Cabanas or Green Turtle in West OC.
Yeah, I'll be there all week. It's June bug season, so not much going on in Ocean City except for a bunch of 18-year-olds just trying not to get arrested, basically.
Oh, cool.
It's senior week, so I don't have to deal with that much at bars. It's great.
Well, hey guys, good seeing everybody. Take care of yourselves.
Yeah, this has been another episode of Gary Williams Stole My Lawn Furniture. We'll see you next week.
Boom.